So the ideal business model, if you have a pen and paper, use it. If you don't have one, I'm going to give you a minute now to grab one, please, because this presentation does have some drawing in it, and this, what we'll present to you, will give you basically 9 projects to work on with your business. Okay, so this is the fundamental model that I use to coach businesses right up to $20 million in turnover. Okay, so everyone can see people's heads ducking and weaving there, trying to find that pen that works. Story of my life. My kids always take my good pens, and I get stuck with the ones that don't work. Rightio. So just a little quick intro on me. This is me on the left with my 3 children, and this is my business partner, who happens to be my sister as well. So she we've been working together for over 6 years. I've got 3 children. They are nearly triplets. I had my daughter, she was 6 months old, and I fell pregnant with twins. So I ended up with 3 kids in 15 months. That's 3 kids in nappies for over a year, which was fantastic, but we got through it. That's a little bit about me. So today's game plan really is to give you guys the opportunity to unpack what your ideal business might look like, okay? It will also then go through the key projects, as I mentioned, that will get you working in that direction. Now, what we want to do is we want to look for an ideal outcome for a business. Now, in my opinion, for a business to be ideal, it has to have 3 key components. And those key components are ideal income. So you're making the money that you want to make to work for you now and into the future. You have ideal freedom, i.e. that business allows you to step away for, say, 4 weeks at a time to go on a holiday and still operates. And ideal scale. And scale is what supports the income and the freedom. Okay, so if you have those 3 components, you've got something that's pretty ideal. Okay, because if you had ideal income but no freedom, that wouldn't be very ideal. And if you had ideal freedom but no income, that also wouldn't be ideal. So we need these 3 things to work congruently with each other to create something that's pretty much ideal. Now, you've got to understand, I guess, if you haven't had business before, just like life, it is not a straight line. Okay, there are ups and downs, there are ebbs and flows in business. That's business. But if you work towards a larger goal and you understand very clearly what that goal is, then you can weather those ebbs and flows. Okay. So as I mentioned, we've got sort of 9 key projects that we want to work with businesses, and it doesn't matter if it's your business, my business, or one of our clients' businesses that have got 200 staff. It doesn't matter. There are key fundamentals to every single business that we can look over from a really, really top view. So the ideal business model. This is where you get to grab out your pen and paper, scribble out a big, beautiful pattern that looks something like this. So if you guys can grab yourselves a pen, or even turn a cup upside down, it's a good one, and just draw yourself those 3 circles there, and that creates the base of our ideal business model. In the middle of that, we're actually going to put the word ideal, because that's what we're creating. On the outside of those, in those little petals here, we've got income, as we spoke about, freedom, and scale. They are the 3 components that make up your ideal. Okay. Now, I know that we're going to make in business or lose in business money, and that's in 3 key areas. So we're going to either make or lose money in 3 key areas of the business, and this happens to be comprised of this business model. So with your business, if you get your promotions, so promotions, sales, and marketing right, you're going to make money. If you get promotion, sales, and marketing wrong, you're going to lose money. Now, I've worked in television, radio, digital, press. I haven't worked in billboards. And I've bought pretty much all of it as well. And I can tell you right now that I have seen businesses waste a lot of money marketing the wrong way. I've wasted money marketing the wrong way, and I've also seen businesses succeed and we work with businesses to help them succeed. So promotion, sales, and marketing, you're either going to make money or lose money there. Margins is the next one. If you get your margins right in your business, so the financial side of your business, if you get that right, you're going to make some really good money. Again, on the flip side, if you don't do that well, you will lose money. Now, the promotions and the margin side of your business, it's what makes up the income. So if you can, so income being revenue, income being money coming in the door in your bank account. So if you get your marketing right, you're going to have more inquiry come in. If you have your pricing right and your margins right, you're going to make more money. And that comprises of your income. Okay, does that make sense so far? Again, just give me a yell out if I'm moving too fast or if you've got any questions that are sort of confusing you. Next one here, making or lose money is in the people side of your business. If you get your people right, or the HR, in people we put systemization as well. If you get that right, you're going to make some good money. Again, hiring the wrong people, having the wrong people in the roles, not having the systemization in your business or the efficiencies in your business makes you run slowly, makes you run poorly, and you can lose money. So get it right, make money, get it wrong, lose money. Now, the same thing will happen with income. If you get your people right and you're making good money from what it is that you do, whether it's a widget that you sell or a service that you offer, if you make good money, you're going to have freedom because your people will support you while you go on holidays with all the money that you made. So that's where your freedom side comes from. Now, the scale side comes from the promotions. So the business coming in the door times the people. So if you have the people looking after the business, you're going to have scale because you can grow. The more business you get in, the more good people support you, the larger your business will become. And it doesn't mean you have to be huge. It just means that you may be able to create a business that doesn't rely on you 24/7. Okay. So if you hear or feel these sorts of things in your business, you can attribute it to some of these problems or some of these opportunities for solutions. So if you need more work in your business, and I know many of you haven't started a business yet, and that's fine. Once you've got that idea down pat and you need business coming in the door, it's a promotion, sales, and marketing question, right? If you need more help, excuse me, if you need more help, i.e., oh my God, we are so flat out right now, we can't deal with any more work. It's that you need people or better systems. If you need more money, it's like we're flat out, we can't handle any more work, but we're broke. It's a margins issue. Okay, it's a money issue. So the whole opportunity here is to be able to upgrade the promotion side of the business, optimize the margin side of the business, and engage the people side of the business, right? So I want your little model here to morph out into something that's a little bit more tricky. So you're just going to draw these little sticks out to the side here, and then from that, create a circle that goes around the outside. Because with this, we still have 3 key areas for each key area, okay? And that's what gives us our 9 projects that I spoke about at the beginning. So if we look at upgrading the promotion side of the business first, I want you guys to think about your business that either you've started or you're thinking of starting. And I want you to think about who is your target audience. Who is the person who is going to buy your service or your product? Now, the answer of women aged 25 to 54 is not the right answer or something along those lines. I want you to think about the person that you created the solution for their problem to. So for instance, you might have created, I don't know, I don't know, maybe a beautiful website that's calming and that serves a purpose. Now that probably came about because of a reason or a need that you saw in the market, or something that triggered you to think like that. And so that is your target audience. It's that person who you know is needing your product, not a very broad range of person, unless it's underpants or haircuts or something like that. But still, we still have certain people like, I don't fit my son's underpants. So I just want you to think about your target audience. So with that model here, just chuck target audience in as the first thing to think about with your sales and marketing. Now, this target audience, we want to go from any grade person. So any grade being someone who doesn't pay you, someone who doesn't like your prices, and someone who complains a lot. Those kind of people, they're not your people. They're bad apples. We don't want them. You'd rather have no money than deal with these people, because they chew up your time, therefore they chew up your money, and they prevent you from selling to people who are good apples. So we want A-grade people. We want people who are happy with your prices, who refer to others, like them because they happen to be really, really nice people too. Okay, so they're the kind of people that you want. They always pay on time. The next thing you want to do is you want to go, okay, once you understand exactly who you're going to talk to and where they hang out and how you're going to get to them, they might be mothers. So where do mothers hang out? Where are you most likely to find them? You're not going to find them at the local TAB. There's no point in going there, right? Or you're not going to find them on a website dedicated to men's sports. It's unlikely. You've got to go where the people are. So once you understand that, then you can look at boosting the leads. All right, stick a bit of nitro in that. So boosting the leads is the next one here. So you want to go from basically a trickle, not seeing very much, to a flood of leads coming through the door. And the next one here is mastering conversion. So when I say mastering conversion, it's about going from having a conversation about whether they need your product to actually buying your product and handing over the cash. So master conversion is the last section of upgrade the promotion. Now, to some people, a person who's potentially buying might look like a tire kicker. They're just wasting my time. But sometimes that's because they're not seeing buying signals or selling signals from you. So you could be, dancing around having nice warm cups of coffee together and never getting to the nuts and bolts of why you need to be talking together and transacting. So you want to be able to turn these people from browsers into buyers, where they understand this is a buying conversation, and therefore they've got to hand over money. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I first started my first business, all my friends were going to buy my stuff. They were all about it. They were all going to join my business, and they were all going to be my clients. And when I opened the doors, funnily enough, crickets. Mm-hmm. They weren't handing out the cash. I really I'd factored them in. I'm like, yes, I've got this many clients, I've got this many members, because they're all saying that they're going to buy from me. Well, it didn't happen. Why? Because they were my friends, and I didn't crunch them on a sale. I didn't sell them. I'm not, I always take my hats off to people who can do a multi-level marketing, because that just does not work with my personality. And I love the people that can do it, because it's a great personality trait to have. So you've got to turn them from buyers, from browsers into buyers. All right. Now, here are some things that you can do to target the right audience. databases, CRM software. You might not be there yet, but you might have an Excel spreadsheet of all your clients. What does your brand profile look like? How do you care for the people that aren't buying from you yet? From a nurturing funnel. Who else is going to help you sell? Other proactive referrals. If you sell candles, what business also suits your product? Is there a beautiful retail store down the street who would like to stock your product? Is there someone, if you have lips, I don't know, makeup of some sort? Is there another business that matches that beautifully with the same target audience? Because marketing, everyone thinks in their heads, is social media. There are a bazillion ways to market, and there's a bazillion ways to do it cheaply and targeted and relationship building. And at the end of the day, sales is about relationships, however you choose to do it. So boosting leads, how are you going to get them? Where do they live? Where do these target people live? And go hard in that area. By doing that, your conversion rate will automatically go up, and it will go up because you're talking to the right people who are genuinely probably interested in your product. Because there's no point in selling a product to someone who's mismatched. That's when you see pushy sales, and that's when you see your conversions go down, because you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It doesn't work. So things like sales targets. How many do I have to sell to make the money that I want to make? What is my sales script? It sounds a bit weird. Why would I need a sales script? That's so robotic. It's not robotic when it comes out of your mouth naturally, but it's practice that gets you there in the first place. So my suggestion is have some sort of process of questions in asking your potential clients to make you understand their pain points, to make them understand their pain points, so your product can match up with their pain points and solve their problem. So don't go into your sales process blind. Have a script, practice your script, and then when you meet the people to sell to, that will just roll out of your tongue. You might miss bits and pieces, it doesn't matter. You get the general gist, the information that you need, their contact details, all those sorts of things that you might miss in the heat of selling. Okay. Margins. First one, tuning costs. Setting up a business can be expensive. Okay. It can be really expensive. So you need to understand where your costs are going to go and make sure you don't blow out. It's really, really important. You need to have some capital behind you, because business will always throw up surprises. And these are the things that will close businesses. We need to set the businesses up so, many business owners don't get paid. They might take from the business, but they don't have wages per se. So you need to be able to say, what's it worth for me to do this business rather than just work? It's got to be good, right? I want to be paid more than I could get paid. Everyone has a chance to make a huge success out of business, because there's thousands and thousands of business owners making great lives for themselves. There is no reason why you guys are any different. It's just about getting it right.
Amanda?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. I was just going to say, should we add contingency to the margins then? Like, say, for example, I want to open up a counseling business. And if I want to do counseling, so I've actually done research on what I am able to handle in terms of the number of clientele that I can take per day, then per week, obviously, whatever. So if I was to say, for example, if like the absolute minimum to charge would be like $60 an hour, depending on like entry level counseling or whatever, should I like add an extra $15 for losses or something?
I'm about to go into pricing actually now. So the next one is pricing, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And I'll actually just roll into it right now and ask you the question. I think pricing. So when we talk about optimizing margins, pricing is probably the biggest thing we come up against. It's not ever against. Pricing is aligned directly to sales and promotions. When we look at pricing, what we don't want to be is reactive pricing. So you've just given me a number already, $60 minimum. It's like, where did that come from?
Are you asking me what, like right now? Okay, so I've had a look online and I've looked then to see pretty much all the different counseling services, types of services. So obviously the heavier the topics, the more money that you earn. So depending on like I said, like if you're entry level will start somewhere between $60 and $80, and then it'll work its way up to about $120 to $130. So depending on whether you're like doing trauma, domestic violence, you know, those sort of topics, it just all depends on the type of services that you're gonna be selling as a product.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this is the thing about pricing is reactive pricing is based around what your competitors are doing, what you think your customers will wear, and historically. So if I go into a business and it's happened before, we get a business owner who's bought an existing business, and it's like, well, they said I could change this and this, but I'm not allowed to change the pricing because that's how it's always been. It's like, well, it's 2023 and it's not going to be like that anymore because you're not making money from it. You've got to go from this reactive pricing model. So I don't know who's speaking. Sorry.
Gaida.
Oh, hi. To a proactive pricing model. Now, that's not to say that your pricing is wrong by any means, but what you've got to go is, how much do I need to make? So you work backwards. So how much profit?
Yeah, so it's easier to say how much do I need to make in terms of like, you know, what is it going to take for me to cover the cost of whatever business. I don't know what it's going to cost me yet. You know, I have to get an FBOS machine, you know, just get a software program. I've got no idea, to be honest with you.
That's right. And so that's what, great. And that's what you need to work out. Because what will happen is you'll go and set your pricing, I'm just going to say at $60, and this goes across the board for all of you guys. You'll create a dollar value around your service or product. Then you'll move in and buy all your stuff and realize, oh my God, I need to work 80 hours a week to cover costs. You have to work backwards. So do all your math on what your costings are going to be each month or annually, and break it down and go, okay, I understand that I need to have 5 clients a day at $80 or whatever it is to cover my costs and then some. And this, I'm just putting numbers out. You might have rent, or you've got, you know, tax obligations, you've got insurances, you've got a whole heap of things that get hidden. And don't forget the taxman takes 30% before you even blink an eye. So that is not your money. Sell on value. And when I said before about conversions, understand the client's pain points, get your skill set around questioning and identifying all the issues that they have before you sell them or provide them with your solution. Because if you go and sell them on a dollar-based solution, they see no value. They determine whether they're going to do business with you or not if you are the cheapest, because you just commoditized yourself. So always go in with value-driven based proposition. I am going to give you all of this. You will not have this problem anymore. You are going to be fine. And by the way, this is the investment. If you go, I'm $60 an hour, thanks, and I've got space on Monday, they go, okay, cool. And they might go to the next person, and that person's 55. You know, you invest the time in asking the right questions with these potential customers, understand your client, particularly while you're growing your business, so you can understand your market better. Ask questions.
So in other words, like do a research, you mean? Like do some sort of survey? Like I go to a particular type of church or something. If I was to like send out like a, you know, a feedback survey and just say like what's kind of interests are important to everybody, just as a starting off point, something like that.
Sure. Sure. Then you can tailor your product to that person. Because then you don't have a one size fits all scattergun approach, not targeting the right client. Because you might go, man, that's actually a thing. I actually know about that, or I don't know about, but I'm going to go and research it. Demand is another thing. Scarcity. Scarcity is a massive driver of people. FOMO, massive driver of people. Limited space. FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Limited spaces, only work till 3 o'clock on that sort of thing creates our mad, crazy world that we live in. Limited edition stuff. That's why Woolies, stupid little plastic things, it drives kids crazy, or we have this psychology around limited stuff. So if you have an open diary that makes you look very, very unpopular, you are less likely to attract people than if you have something that looks a little bit hard to get into.
So leave a little mystery.
Yep.
With the relationship with the clients that don't offer all your goods.
Yeah, I'm really busy this week, but hang on. I think we've got Jenny. She might be, let me get back to you. I think we might secure you and can I pencil you note, that sort of thing. It's
Slight bits of white lies.
It's not a white, but you know what I mean? It's not that, but it's, you can create a appearance of scarcity.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. So cool. So guys, pricing is about confidence. Okay. When we look at the model here, when you're positioned in the market as an authority, an expert, a great, it's something that someone wants to be associated with, a cure, whatever it is, when you have confidence, and confidence it can ebb and flow. So I want you to be very, very clear about what it is that you do and stick to your lane. Don't veer from it. You are good at what you do. Then your pricing will reflect. If you start to drop your pricing because you get a little bit desperate and you're scared, people smell it and you'll pick up the bad apples.
Sounds like picking up a dude.
Okay.
Sounds like the same relationship with a guy. Like,
exactly the same.
If you want a good apple, it's exactly the
That's
same.
it. Exactly, guys. Yeah, that's a little bit of a side lesson there. Okay, next one's take the cash flow. So the last one there, just in your margins, is cash flow. So we've got costs, but then we've got cash flow. All right. So cash flow is money coming in and out of the business. You've got to make sure that you've got contingency or forward planning to ensure that that money continues to roll in. So looking at your forecasts, how much money do you think you're going to get in the next month? If you're not going to get enough, what are you going to do about it? These are some of the opportunities with costs and pricing and cash flow. I think with business setup as well, it's just be very careful about understanding how to set your business up correctly so you're not in a high risk environment and that something goes wrong and you lose your house kind of stuff. So it's wise to be speaking to accountants. My sister is a CPA. I know she's doing a presentation in a couple of weeks. I'm not quite sure on. So just be mindful of that, guys. You don't want to have your assets exposed. Pricing. Again, pricing's aligned to your how confident your branding. It's not that you have to have the world's best branding or you have to walk in thinking you own the place. It's not about that. It's about confidently delivering a solution to your client. So price is no longer an issue. It's the difference between why people pay $60,000 for a Birkin bag, yet a Woolworths bag does the same thing. That's brand, that's positioning, right? there's a lot of scarcity involved. There's a whole heap of psychology involved in it. When you become too easy, you commoditize it. Okay, people don't value you. So be brave. All right, be brave with your pricing. Don't drop yourself. You know, don't drop your prices to accommodate people who don't deserve you. Okay, engaging people. So that last circle, the first one is installation of systems. Okay, making sure that you've got systems in place to follow up leads, to nurture your clients. You know, how have you been? I haven't heard from you. You said you were going to, you've ghosted me. Come back. So understanding systems. Once you understand your systems, and you go away from this friction-based model where you've got mistakes happening all the time because it's all stuck in your head, complaints happening from maybe internal, you know, with family because you're doing something, you know, it's irritating them, or you're getting complaints from your customers or your suppliers, and you've got wastage. So wastage could come in the guise of money wastage, time wastage, mojo wastage, a whole heap of wastage, resources, everything, buying too many widgets because it sounded like a good idea at the time. So managing inventory, you know, those sorts of things. So you want to go from a friction state to a flow state. You're McDonald's, you know what you're going to get. It doesn't even matter if you don't really like it that much. You know what you're going to get. If you're hungry, you know it will fill the spot. It doesn't have to be the best. It just has to be consistent. Your clients must know what they're getting. You get compliments, so internal, external compliments, and there's teamwork. And it could be, again, with external and internal teamwork. So that systems is what enables you to scale. Okay, because then if you're, say, using Loom, has everyone heard of Loom? If you haven't heard of Loom, I suggest you get Loom, which is just it's just a website. It's free and it records your desktop while you're talking. So I could sit here talking and there'll be a little circle, my head talking, and it's literally recording my desktop. So anytime you've got to do something and it needs to be repeated, and there might be one day that you need to have someone else do that for you, you might be going away, you might get sick. My suggestion is put all your processes into Loom and you have a little library of your processes. You might have your kids might help you. You know, if you've got anything that you do on the computer, on any program, just Loom it in, stick it in a file, and you've got a training library. So it's handy. Keeping score is your next one here. Now, keeping score is about KPIs, so key performance indicators. How do I know that my business is performing well? Now, that might mean going back to understanding your pricing. It's like, well, if I want to earn $10,000 a month and I sell something that's worth $2,000, I know I need to sell 5 of those a month to make my $2,000 or $10,000. And if my conversions are at 50%, for instance, that means I need to talk to 20 people a month to get $10,000 a month. That's a key performance indicator. Understanding that you need to talk to 20 people a month to get your $10,000 a month is a key performance indicator. Having a understanding that you will get back to clients within 5 minutes of inquiry, that's your rule, is a key performance indicator. Invoicing straight out within 30 minutes, key performance indicator. They are things that you can measure. So when the business may not be performing as well as what it should, you can go back to your key performance indicators and go, well, hang on. I only saw 10 people last month. Now I only have $5,000. my key performance indicator for my sales, I didn't make it. I didn't do my numbers. So when you understand your numbers, really simple. There's nothing that even needs to be done in Excel, for instance. Yeah, it's really simple. Just understand what are the rules. What are the systems that support those key performance indicators? What are you going to run in your diary? For instance, my diary, it looks like a rainbow, but it is very, very heavily measured by me every single day as to what, if I'm doing a personal thing, it's in blue. If it's a money-making activity or a meeting, it's in red. And I've got other things. So if I'm having not a good month, I look back and I go, oh my God, there's so much blue in my working hours. Like I slacked off. It's as simple as that. I can just look at it really, really quick and go, you know what? You deserve that because you didn't do the work. So it's the same thing. It's like I have key performance indicators. So if you are not running a diary, run a diary. My kids know if it's not in the diary, it doesn't happen. I have put to go to bed. I have go to bed. I have planned my day. I have sheets off. I have bins out. I have, I have everything because I'm a scatterbrain and I have to live like that. That's how I have to live. I have to live like that. It's just me. So key performance indicators, keeping score. So you go from clockwork, guesswork. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it, to clockwork, because at the end of the financial year, you know how much money you should have made. Too many times I get to businesses and it's the end of the year and they go, can't wait to the accountant to tell me how much money they made. It's like, you should know how much money you made because you planned to make that much money. So know your basic stuff. Doesn't mean you have to be I'm not even good at math. It doesn't matter. Okay. Key stuff you just need to know. Last one is building culture. Now, culture exists even if you're a solopreneur. Okay. How you show up every day is culture. You emit your culture out to everybody else. So you can just be a clock on, clock off person, or you can step up and steer your direction where you are going to go. Okay, that's your choice. But that's culture. And then when your business grows or you're working with other businesses, you might be, you might have, I don't know, doing a collab or something like that. Your attitude, your culture will immediately be reflected upon that person. And when people see other people step up, they feel forced to step up too. You can only control you. So you guys are the ones that need to step up and continue to step up. Installation of systems, keeping score and building culture. Here are some of the options for that. Okay, so installation of systems, just looking at budgets and forecasts, for instance, if you are, we look at the counseling psychology service, for instance, say, okay, you can look at your future diary and go, right, we've only got 6 people booked in for next week. How do we go about ensuring that we've got 20 people booked in, because that's our number? What do we have to do to make sure that our KPIs are matched and we're getting the numbers in to make sure we have the money at the end of the financial year or the end of the month? If you don't look forward, you are only collecting what happened. Now, the past is the past. It's gone. It's done. There's no point. It's nice to reflect and go, what did we learn? But the reality is it's the future that you can control. You can't control what's happened. So always look forward in your business. Always think, how am I going to get these numbers? They're not magically appearing. What do I have to do? And what's in the pipeline? Okay, so be always thinking forward. Recording pre-keep. Yeah.
Sorry, just before you go on, I don't know if everybody No, like that's a lot of information. I don't know about you guys, but clearly I'm not fast enough to write it. But I've screenshotted everything. I don't know if you guys know. You guys can screenshot everything and record it on your computer.
Yeah, look, that's
Control.
fine. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of it here
Yeah.
that's not relevant right now. So I
Mm,
don't stress yourself over it. The
okay.
main thing is I want you to think about the key headings, which is systems, taking score, and building culture. Behavioral analysis for you guys doesn't matter. You don't it's irrelevant. All I want you to think about are the key factors. The point of having these, this is a presentation that I run all the time. And this is relevant to, as big a business as you can think of. The reality is there is still something in it for everybody. You don't have to worry about a lot of it, but I want you just to open your thought processes around it. Okay. So don't stress that, oh my God, we've got to do all of this. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So on that, tell me, how do you feel about that? What's been the most helpful for you